Good afternoon from VIT University in India. I am Farzaneh Haratian, an associate professor teaching at VIT this year. Last 4 years I was teaching in China, and now I am very much privileged to be here. And this recording is going to be a part of the series of talk that is programmed by Eurasia organization, and here now I need to extend my sincere gratitude to my colleague, my dear colleague, Professor Lopez Varela in Spain. She has been trying hard in order to build a bridge among different scholars across the globe. The whole talk is under the title of sustainability, sustainable development, and it's related to culture. I'm from Iran, and I think you already know the situation that women in Iran, Iranian women are confronting, are facing the hardships, the problems that they have. I'm sure that you have read the news about the demonstrations going on in Iran regarding women's rights and lack of freedom. By freedom, I mean they are not allowed to choose what to wear. They have to, by have to, I mean there is a must to wear a scarf, and their hair should be covered. Otherwise, they are detained, and they are even considered as criminal. Many young girls, I'm sure you have read in the news, they were killed, they were blinded, they were dismembered. So what do we mean by sustainability here? In whatever reason, if the reason is religion, if the reason is culture, tradition, whatsoever, we need to know that women are human beings. Western women struggled a lot, and after many years, they earned the right to choose what they want to do. But still, in some countries like Iran, women are struggling for the very basic rights of what to wear. And if it is in the name of a religion, I'm a Muslim, and I am proud to be a Muslim. And I am a Muslim not by force, but by choice. But the Islam that I practice is very much different from what they ask me or what they demand me to follow. The Islam that I know by Prophet Muhammad, our Prophet, is all about friendship, is about peace, about giving and forgiving. It's all about thinking about your own problems instead of spying over other people, what they're doing, what they're wearing. So it's about reflection inside on your own mistakes, faults, and problems in order to improve yourself. And it's all about love and peace. So I don't know where really they find the hostility and enmity, or how they interpret. Everyone interprets the text and the discourses according to their own benefits and profits. And this is the way that it goes in Iran. But surely, after a lot of ignorance and darkness and a lot of killings, tyranny, oppression, and women victimization, comes some light, some enlightenment, some awareness. And if women, if only Iranian women, take each other's hands, and if men, good men from Iran, patient men, I mean with that kind of attitude, understanding, protective of women, if we all take each other's hands and rise, who is there to stand against us? When something is sensible, is rational, logical, when it makes sense, people would accept, people would approve that, yes, this makes sense. But the situation now has caused a lot of women, as the reports and studies and research show, has shown that the women in Iran have been rated in terms of life satisfaction, mental well-being, mental health. They have been rated much lower than other countries. It's because they don't have the right to choose. Imagine me as somebody who has been educated, somebody who has been in the realm of education, somebody who is a teacher, somebody who goes to the classroom and teach. So I am not allowed, I don't have the right to go abroad unless a man, whether my father, my husband, or my brother, sign the consent letter, and then I am allowed to for example, to travel outside. Otherwise, as a woman, you're not allowed to. So as you see, ancient Persia was so great in terms of civilization. And it's really so preposterous to see the situation now that women are not allowed, for example, to travel unless there is a man who is there to sign the consent letter. It's about freedom. Some women want to have hijab, we call it hijab, or they want to cover it. They can do it. We all respect them. Go ahead. And some people won't like to do it. What is the force? He or she is somebody like me, educated. She is a doctor. She is an engineer. She is working. She is a mother to her children. She decides not to wear the scarf. So why are you pushing? And why do you detain people? Why do you arrest them? A lot of young girls were killed when they were on their way to school with their bags, pens, pencils, and notebooks. So it is something that the world cannot be blind to. And I am a poet. I use the language of poetry in order to express myself. So let me not talk anymore, but tell you the situation in my poems. Our book, Soul Seeking Transcendence, it is a collection of poems written by me and my daughter, Diana Kamyabizadeh. She's a talented high school student. Together we published this book 2 months ago in January 2024 in India, and I'm going to read some of the poems. The language of poetry helps and facilitates the expression of feelings, attitudes, beliefs, and ideas, and the trauma. So that's why my focus in research is basically these days on positive psychology and poetry therapy. I am trying to show that the language of poetry can help people in terms of the mental health improvement, happiness, and well-being. So I am going to read you some of the poems, and then you would learn about the sustainability in Iran and the situation. This is very proud because it is the motherland of very great popular poets of all times, Hafiz and Saadi. And I'm also going to read a poem about Aram Garden. Through this description, you would understand how beautiful, marvelously amazing is Shiraz. And who knows, maybe in future when the situation gets better, which it will definitely happen, hopefully soon, you would travel to Iran, and you and me as sisters without a scarf start dancing and singing in the very beautiful gardens of Shiraz. Later I'm going to read to you a poem about Aram Garden, and between the lines, through the diction and through the metonymy, metaphors, the personification, the different aesthetic devices and figurative language, you would learn about Shiraz better, through the descriptions of the poetry and the memories hidden between the lines. In this poem, the title is Namaste to Nirvana. I am going to read to you a poem that is showing the effectiveness of poetry in helping people, in improving mental health and well-being. Comes with the poetry a breeze, a release. Positive poet clutches tools that appease. Surgical blades, scissors, the pain is at her seas. The poet embrocates emollient on the wounds and the cuts deep as valleys. She heals the pain with her facilities, amenities. She tries many health theories. Poetry puts the soul at ease with her artistic armors and fancies. Metaphor, metonymy, synonymy, rhythm, meter, rhyme, off-rhyme, half-rhyme, slant, hyperbole, allegory, apostrophe, imagery, symbol, simile, irony, cacophony, euphony, consonants, assonance, figures of speech, oxymoron, as it reads. Ignorance is a strength, war is peace. Persistent pastiche, perspicacious is Miss Poetry. Does the therapy all by herself in ease, as she quells the quivers, warms the freeze. Light to her pen she shall release. She is such a poet with positive shields. Nebulous nemesis is at ease. Namaste to Nirvana. Namaste to Nirvana as poetry frees the soul by her magic keys. December 5th, 2023. The profound prominence of poetry in two-day world of war, Ukraine and Russia, Gaza and Israel, so it's a war around the globe, the violence, the aggression. When after the COVID time, after what we all went through with COVID and the hardship that time, in the post-COVID time, that you and I should take each other's hand and be friends with each other, and we try to help each other to overcome the difficulties, overcome the hardships, overcome the obstacles and problems. This is the situation. Poetry comes to help. Thank you very much again for giving me this opportunity to be here today and to read some of the poems and talk about the very importance of poetry in therapy, in education, and in wellness. Have a good day. So now, after reading some of the poems about my hometown Shiraz in Iran and about the situation of women in Iran and how strong they are, but definitely sun would shine again in Iran, and then we can have prosperity, we can have freedom of thoughts, we can have the rights to travel without any consent letter, the signature from any man, and free enough to choose what you want to wear, whether you want to cover your hair or not. And definitely sun is going to shine brightly again in Persia, and I am positive about it. Many thanks again goes to my dear colleague Professor Lopez Varela for her unwavering dedication in educational growth and enlightenment. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Now I'm going to read a poem from the book Soul Seeking Transcendence. The title is Soul Needs a Surgeon. So here I want to show how poetry can help people suffering from different disorders. Crumbling, tumbling turmoil in the soul, causing nocturnal numbness in the body shore, triggering a fall, failure, a hole. PTSD, ADHD, CD, AD, DD, ASD, AAD, GAD, RAD, LAD, SSD, DID, OCD, IED, BED, phobia, agoraphobia, claustrophobia, anorexia, bulimia, nervosa, pica, mania, hypermania, kleptomania, pyromania, trichotillomania, depression, delirium, delusions, insomnia, parasomnia, hypersomnia, paranoid, schizoid, obsessive, bipolar, borderline, dependent, avoidant, histrionic, narcissistic, schizotypal, antisocial. A long list of disorders and more comes with a confusion, collapse, crash, clash, and soar. Mental maladies, chaos in soul, rush to harm, to hurt, to cause your death. It is a lure. Soul needs a surgeon for pathologies. The body is breathing, mind is in gore. Condition is getting worse. Soul is diseased by some foul force. Poor mind and soul, off with regulators, off with ERS and so, is condemned to carry distress, unrelieved stress, morbid mourns, a freighted cargo of thoughts so coarse, of sores, dreary chores. December 7th, 2023. This one I wrote it when I was going for a lecture on poetry therapy. So as you see in the beginning, soul needs a surgeon. We're talking about mental well-being, need of a surgeon for the soul. And I believe that poetry can do the job perfectly well.